a chair and join me today. Out in my workshop, I'm tinkering away. Wanda above, staring down on me. Wonder what my next project will be. Working on my Johnson, my Merc Mark 10. Firing up my StarCraft to fish again. Grab your friends and your dog is too, to watch Tim's Workshop on my YouTube. Hey, welcome to Tim's Workshop. Back on the 60 horse Merc. Had a little issue on it the last time out. It started cutting out at high speed. So today we're going to pull the flywheel, inspect the stator and the trigger. I've heard sometimes they start falling apart. And this is a 1996 motor, so who knows what kind of condition they are. So we'll inspect it together. I'm going to show you some tools that I'm using to not only take the flywheel off, but put it back on with the correct torque. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe and leave comments. Hit the notification bell if you like. Give me a like. Hit the old hand thing. And let your friends and family know about my videos too. So let's get going on this 60 horse Merc, pulling the flywheel to do some inspection. Okay, first off, let's pull the hood off. Now, pull the cover. Has little plastic wing nuts and washers on each one, so don't lose them. Hang on to the washers. Don't let them drop down in there. Otherwise it's going to take some time to dig them back out. Alright, so we got the cover off. Now we want to get the cap off. There we go. We want to pull this nut off. Okay, this is the holder. I'm going to put the holder on here. And I have a 15/16 socket in here. There we go. I was afraid I was gonna fall over. So I was taking it easy with that. But it wasn't as bad as I thought. Just a couple good jerks. And that did it very well. So yeah, there's a washer in there. I don't know if I can get the washer out. I don't know if it really makes a difference. I got this out of my bolt puller kit, but I didn't know what I was looking at here. And we don't want to mess up the threads on this, or we don't want to mess up the inside either. So I'm going to go get a better tip for this. And then I'm going to use the washers to take up this pin. Put these washers over it, and then it'll fit right over the top, just like that. And when you buy this piece, I bought it with just the just this piece that threads into the flywheel, but also has an eyelet for lifting the motor off. But you can also use this eyelet to pull this flywheel off. So you got a big crescent wrench. Put your crescent wrench on there. Okay, and then use a 1/2 inch breaker bar and just start winding this in with this threaded in there. And you got to have a protector. Crankshaft end, you want to protect the end of it. Two different sizes here, so this smaller one looks like the better of the two. So we're going to use a smaller one. Okay, now I'll put this on there, screw it in. Now, screw this in. There we go. It popped. There we go. Looks good. Magnets all look good. They're not loose. So that's what we're inspecting. Right now, let's see what kind of condition it is. All these face forward. This part of it faces aft, where your arrows are. It even says make sure it's pointing aft on the writing on this. You have 4 hex head bolts that hold this on. So we'll take it off. Other than being kind of dirty, a little bit of mold on it. Looks pretty good. Stator doesn't look that bad. But we're going to pull it off just to inspect it a little closer. I'll show you what it looks like. See the bolts? And then it has the, make sure that this part of it's facing aft when you put it back on. And your pickup coils are on the front. And then the trigger has 3 pickup coils as well. I'll get a tool and we'll get that, we'll get the stator off first, and then we'll get the trigger off, and we'll take a closer look at it, and we'll clean it up a little bit, you know, get some of that stuff off. Sprayed some PB blaster around these heads, and then use this to kind of work it a little bit. And as soon as it broke free, you go back and forth and get it so it's moving well before you remove this bolt. So being these they've probably been on here forever, you don't want to reef on these things without being gentle with them. Go back the other way a little bit, and then this way a little bit. There we go. Okay, it's broke loose. Go this way a little bit, back and forth. I think we got it. Okay, well, yeah, pretty dry. They need anti-seize on them. Alright, time to disconnect the battery. Well, let's pull the stator off of here. Yay! It's kind of oily, but that could have been from me shooting PB Blaster on it. The stator looks good. Now the trigger. Got to pop it loose from here. There we go. Yeah, you just put your screwdriver right on the rod and pop it loose. Doesn't hurt it a bit. And the ball's still on there. So there we go. Now we can pull this off. We don't have anything dangling on it, you know. But this is a trigger. And the trigger has pickup coils, 3 of them, on it. So other than the oil I put on there, looks good. Clean the oil off of there. So that's what the trigger looks like. Yeah, it goes like that. Fits over the top. The trigger fits over the top of this bearing here. And you fit this over the top, the bearing, and then this moves back and forth, and that's what advances your timing. The stator, it just goes over the top, but it's stationary. What's not stationary is a flywheel that's moving around it, and that's what gives your charge. So we're going to clean all this up, put it all back together, and then I'll show you when I'm torquing it to. Now these bolts have a torque on them too, so I'm going to look that up and make sure I torque those correctly. So you'll see that portion of it too. And there's the key that everybody seems to have a problem with. If this breaks, then your timing mark is going to be off on your flywheel, and if you want to set your timing, you won't be able to until you fix this. Well, I'm out here without sound here, so what I'm doing here is I'm doing a voiceover on this video to keep this thing going. So I kept the clips and put them together so you can see what I'm doing. So right now what I'm doing is I'm putting anti-seize on these bolts and to put the stator back together and the trigger. So everything's going to be lined up here, and start the bolts in. I'm taking one more look to make sure I got it right. Lining up the holes. Alright, put another one on. Alright, so now I'm getting ready to by hand with the L Allen wrench that fits the bolts, the hex head bolts, to get them down snug by hand. And now I'm getting ready to torque them to 60 inch-pounds per the Mercury manual for this stator that I have. This torque wrench is a inch-pound torque wrench, and I have a quarter inch socket with the hex head adapter bit on the end. Works out perfect. I'm doing a cross pattern for the torque, and I'm going up a little bit at a time across from each other until I can get to full torque, which is 60 inch-pounds. Almost done. I think there's one more after this one. You can see I'm using my finger. It's not much to torque 60 inch-pounds. Alright, got that done. Showing you what the bit looks like. I'm using 2,4-C marine grease. Put a little grease around the threads of the end of the crankshaft. Alright, got that ready to go. I'll get the put a little on the nut side, the mating surface of the nut. Alright, got that ready to go. Put a little on the threads. Getting the flywheel, get it prepped and ready. Got a little bit of new grease on that washer inside there. I left the washer in there. I didn't even bother taking it out. So it's there. Put a little on the threads. Now, let's see. A little on the key. Got that. Flip it over and put a little on the key slot on the inside of the flywheel as well. A little bit on the inside. Alright. Keeps it from corroding. Get this lined up. Now I'm going to grab the ladder, get up there where I can see what I'm doing, because I want to make sure I got that key in the right spot. Now I can get up there where I can see what I'm doing. Make sure the key's still there, everything lined up. Okay. Move it around a little bit, and it'll pop right on. There we go. And put the nut on. Grab the socket, run it down by hand with the socket, save some time. Okay, now get the old style torque wrench, tension rod torque wrench. I like this. I've had it for years. I like to be able to see what I'm torquing to. I forgot to turn the sound on. Anyway, we're up to 60 foot-pounds. I went and double-checked what the torque is supposed to be, and it's supposed to be 100 foot-pounds. So here we go. Let's get this thing up to 100 foot-pounds. I'm using the old-style torque wrench. There's 100. All right, we made it. It helped. This piece over here kind of helped hold it. It's on. Cap on. Put everything back together. The flywheel, the stator and trigger have been visually inspected, cleaned, and put back together with the proper torques. So that's it for this video. I'm going to do some more videos on different testing you could do on these. For one, I haven't really figured out why my high speed is kicking out on me. So what I'm going to do, now that I've inspected the stator and the trigger and the flywheel key and all that stuff, you know, and the magnets, we're going to do a fuel test on this. And what you do is you use a clear hose and you start from the carburetors and work your way back to the hose that's coming from the main tank into these motors. So with the clear tube, you can trace down where you're getting your air from, what's leaking, okay? Because that's one of the symptoms of high speed cutout. When you get the motor up to higher RPMs, the air in the system won't be feeding the proper amount of fuel into your engine, and it'll start cutting out. Anyway, so we're going to check it out and see what's going on. It could be the fuel pump, although I rebuilt the fuel pump a few years back, so who knows? It could be going out. Maybe I didn't put it together right. But it's been running great up till now, so so we'll see. Might be something else. I actually haven't tested that regulator yet, so that's one of the tests coming up. There's a way of testing it. We're going to do the test on the regulator, and we're going to do a test on the switch box. That's only two things I haven't really tested. I've tested it as a unit. So we did that test individually on the spark plugs. We did a test on the coils. We did a test from the stator to the coils. And we did a test on the trigger ohms. And we did a test on the stator ohms. And now we physically looked at both. So we're working our way through it. So you like the video, please subscribe. Hit the notification bell. Give me a like. Boop, boop. Hit the old hand thing. Let your friends and family know about my videos too. So until next time, we'll see ya.